Hello everyone. My name is Elise. Welcome back to my channel. It is early in the morning on Friday morning. I'm in my pajamas still. So I have my Ew David shirt on, which I absolutely love. I got this off of Etsy, I think. And I am here to do my TBR for the month of May with you. I did not do a TBR in April, partially because I had too many other videos coming out, so I didn't think I was gonna have time to fit that in. And so I was like, I'll just use it as a time to kind of catch up on some of the books that have been in previous TBRs that I haven't read, like really lean into the mood reading. So we're back doing TBRs. I really like having a TBR. It helps me focus a little bit and not spend so much time in between finishing books, deciding what I'm going to read next, because I can get a little bit of like analysis paralysis when I'm trying to decide what to pick up next, because I just have so many options. So this is at least helpful to me. So I have the stack of books over here. I'm going to bring them closer. Like always, I'm going to talk about the ones that I will definitely be reading first, and then I'll switch over into the ones that are sort of like maybes, options on the board. So the first ones that I definitely will be reading, I will be reading for my next indie publisher taste test video, which I'm so excited to finally be getting back to making these. I've been waiting for the 2023 release to come out that I wanted to read in that video, because I always read a new release in each of those videos. So the three books that I will be reading for my And Other Stories publisher taste test video are Anything That Moves. This is by Jamie Stewart. This is the 2023 release that I was talking about. This is nonfiction, all about Jamie Stewart's sexual escapades and experiences. So Jamie Stewart is in the music scene. If you don't know who they are, this is basically like a really niche type of memoir for them. And I said this before when I originally hauled it not too long ago, that this isn't supposed to be like the sexiest thing of all time, even though it is talking about sex a lot. I think a lot of this is supposed to be like cringeworthy and awkward and like thought-provoking and all those types of things. So I'm excited for that. I think this is gonna be such a fun ride. And yeah, very excited to get to Anything That Moves. I also just love this purple edition. There's not enough purple books in my opinion. So that is Anything That Moves. All right, next up for that video, we have Oldladyvoice by Eliza Victoria. This is translated by Charlotte Whittle, and this is translated from the Spanish. This is one that has been on my radar for so long, and I have been saving it for this video, so I can't wait to get to it. So this one is supposed to be a coming of age story of sorts that follows Marina, whose mother has come down with an unknown illness, and she goes off to stay with her grandmother. But her grandmother is very loosey-goosey, maybe even like neglectful, not quite sure how it's gonna read, but there's basically just no rules. So she moves to this place where she has no rules, she's young, there's a lot of new things happening. I think that there is like some violent type of thoughts going on, so I'm not sure how that's gonna play out. She's also going through puberty, I believe, so there's like all these like sexual thoughts happening, so this kind of ties in with this one in that way. I think she's also very much concerned with being orphaned and then potentially sent off to a convent, because I don't think her mother has agreed to care for her long term. So lots of things going on for Marina. And I'm really intrigued for this. I've heard amazing things. So yeah, can't wait to get into this one. So that is Oldladyvoice. And the last one for that video is gonna be Permafrost. This is by Eva Baltasar, and it's translated from the Spanish by Julia Sanches. So lots of people are talking about Boulder right now because it has been now long listed. I'll show you. So there's noise over here because this guy is dancing around on the couch. There he is. Oh, such a precious baby. So yeah, he's a part of it. He's in the mix. But Boulder has been everywhere recently because it has now been shortlisted for the International Booker Prize. I have previously read Boulder. I read it last year and I really enjoyed it. So I wanted to get to Permafrost, which is the novel that came out by Eva Baltasar previous to Boulder. Also, this cover is slightly unique to the one that I'm used to. I'm used to a blue cover and it came in this pink version. So I think this is a limited edition. I'm not sure how or why I was able to get this. I did order directly from the publisher, so I don't really know what's happening, but I'm happy to have it and do think it's gorgeous, and it matches the cover of Boulder with this kind of like charcoal face on the cover. This describes itself as having a no bullshit lesbian narrator who is a wickedly funny observer of modern life. So I think this is just supposed to be a character study on one woman who's having these kind of like philosophical thoughts and rantings about the ways that she sees the world changing and modern life in general. So I don't think there's going to be much plot, and I'm kind of here for that. I like a funny, dark narrator. I think that's going to be fun. So yeah, I'm very excited for this to see where it goes. I'm very excited for this and other stories taste test in general. So that will definitely be happening in May. So those ones are for sure. The other one that is for sure, again, because it's a video, is the next one in my Sherlock Holmes series that I am doing. So if you don't know, I'm reading all of the Sherlock Holmes books this year and I'm vlogging the process along the way. This is the third book. I'm reading them in publication order, and this is the first short story collection I will be reading. The previous two have been novels, and this is also a reread for me. This is The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes by Arthur Conan Doyle. These editions are by Headline, and I'm very excited to reread this. I read this originally a couple of years ago and very much enjoyed it. It's what solidified me into wanting to reading all of the Sherlock Holmes books in the first place. So I'm excited to reread it. I really like the short story format. I think it works really well for Sherlock as a character because you get all of the fun clue detection without some of the other more problematic elements that can come in the stretched out novels. And I also don't like the big flashbacks in some of the novels. So these tend to not have flashbacks, or if they are there, they're very, very brief. So I'm very much looking forward to this reread. It will probably be the only reread I do all year. Honestly, I rarely reread. So yeah, we will be having a vlogging experience of this one as well. Okay, so now we're shifting into the maybes, and I have 4 that I want to chat about. The first one is Little Eyes. This is by Samanta Schweblin, and this is translated by whom? This is translated by Megan McDowell from the Spanish. And I know Megan McDowell has translated some of their other works, if not all of their other translated works. So this one is a horror novel, as Samanta Schweblin does. And I believe that this one is all about these like little eyes that start popping up everywhere all over the world. And it shows like the interconnected nature of humanity and the world, but I think in like a grotesque way. I'm not really sure what the eyes do. It doesn't say exactly in the back, but I have a feeling they're like portals in some way. I don't know why I think that, but I think I might have heard that somewhere. So I'm very intrigued to get to this. I'm excited for it to be a little bit of a mystery of how this plays out, but it sounds like a very unique horror novel, at least to me, as someone who doesn't read a ton of them. So I'm very excited to get to this. It will be my first Samanta Schweblin. So yeah, I can't wait to see what's in store here. So that is Little Eyes. The next one is Saint X. This is by Alexis Schaitkin, and this one is published by Celadon Books. Now, I have been thinking about picking this up for the last several months, partially because it's been recommended to me as a literary thriller, which I think I'm very much in the mood for. I've been talking about how lately I've been wanting to pick up more plotty books because I just read so much heavy stuff that I need sort of a break in between. And this has been one that I've really been thinking about going to, but just haven't gotten there yet. And then I also discovered, which I'm sure other people knew, but I just discovered that an Apple TV show is getting made out of this, and it's about to come out if it has not already come out. By the time this video comes out, it might already be in existence, but I definitely want to read it. And I'm like, oh, this is now or never. Like, I'm never going to want to read it more than the show coming out. So then I can potentially watch the show. So definitely want to pick this one up. So this one is about a family who's going on vacation in like a Caribbean island, of St. X. And her sister, it's coming from the perspective of one of them in particular named Claire, and her sister goes missing while they're on vacation, and her body is found several days later. 2 men that work at the hotel they were staying at are arrested for the crime, but there's very little evidence to suggest that they actually did it. So then you have a flash forward where Claire happens to have an encounter with one of the men that was arrested for the murder, and that sort of sets her on this trajectory to try and investigate the crime herself. So I'm very intrigued. I think it sounds like a great premise. Not the most original premise, but still very intriguing. So yeah, I definitely want to try and get to St. X this month as well. All right, next one up is Glory by Noviolet Bulawayo, and this one is published by Viking. This has also been everywhere as of late. I mean, almost for a year now since it came out, because this was shortlisted for the Booker Prize. Shortlisted, longlisted, one of those. And then this was also longlisted for the Women's Prize very recently. I've had this for a while. I wanted to read it for a really long time. This is supposed to be an allegory about the coup to get rid of Mugabe in 2017 in Zimbabwe, and it's all from the perspective of animals. So I know for that reason alone, it's been getting marketed by Animal Farm. I've heard a lot of people say it's really nothing like Animal Farm other than the fact that it's also told from the perspective of animals. So I'm not going to go into it thinking that. I just think this sounds really interesting. I've heard very mixed things about it, but the people who really enjoyed it for reasons that I think I would feel similarly. And so it gives me a lot of hope that I will like this one a lot. I also love this cover. I think it's stunning. I mean, I don't often read books based in Zimbabwe, so I'm curious for that reason alone to just expand my reading horizons a little bit. So that is Glory by Noviolet Bulawayo. And then the last one that's on my maybes list, and this one should probably be on the sure bet list because I'm definitely going to read it. That is The Thicken Lean by Chana Porter. I will be reading this from the library as an audiobook, so I already have it checked out, so I'll definitely be getting to it. And I have not read from Chana Porter before. I know that they wrote The Seep, which was pretty popular. It takes place in a future dystopian world and is talking a lot about disordered eating and eating disorders in general. So I'm already there for that. I don't need to know more. I think I originally talked about it a little bit more in my anticipated releases video for January through April. So if you're wanting a longer synopsis for it, head to that video. I'll link it down below. But yeah, I'm sold on that alone. I'm going to read it. I'm very excited. Can't wait. So those are the 8 books I'm planning to read in the month of May. I can't wait to do my publish your taste test video, as I said before, and I also just can't wait to get to all of these books. So if you have read any of these, please let me know what you thought of them. Or if you're just interested in any of them, let me know too, because maybe you can have a little read along in the month of May. So I will see you all in the next video. Bye.